from a little band called Aerosmith, best-selling American hard rock band ever, correct?
I don't know about that.
That's what I heard, 150 million albums.
Really? I hear a different number all the time, so I don't believe any of it. All I know is we're playing here tonight, and with ZZ Top, and it's going to be a great rock show.
Yeah, it is, man. Nissan Pavilion. Really quick, need to say the name of the station here. Big 100.3 welcomes Joe Perry in the studio.
Thanks again for having me here.
And
it's a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon before a show.
And this is the fourth show of the tour, right? But the first one with ZZ Top?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys are doing the next how many dates with ZZ Top?
Well, 36, 34.
The whole rest of the show?
Well, the rest of the tour, and then I'm not sure what we're going to do after that. If we're going to, I heard they were laying out plans for possible European, maybe South America, if it's still politically safe. You never know.
With those guys?
Yeah.
With those guys?
South, I mean, it's...
Now, you're on stage with Billy Gibbons. Have you ever been on stage with him before?
On the same stage at the same time, no.
No.
But I played with him, I think we played with him with Aerosmith in the 70s a couple of times. Somebody told us, I don't remember that, but I remember doing a bunch of dates with the Joe Perry Project with him.
And he's really one of the best, in my humble opinion, blues-based rock and roll guitarists that's probably ever lived.
You'd have to say he's one of the top three that, that's especially, coming out of Texas and just that whole, I don't know, they got somehow I think it's their proximity to the Delta,
Right, just been influenced by it since they were children.
Something about the water, but he's definitely, that band, I think they've been around 3 years longer than us. They're the same guys, same, touring, putting out records, playing constantly, sticking to their guns.
With no break. And you guys actually took a 5-6 year break. Those guys...
if you want to get technical, there was always an Aerosmith. They always said Aerosmith, even though they replaced us with a couple of other guys. But yeah, as far as that goes, and then there's Cheap Trick, and that's it. I can't think of any others that have
consistently kept that long. Yeah.
Lived that long, stayed together, put records out, and all that.
Yeah, and I assume we're going to see you guys on stage together at some point this evening.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know why everybody assumes that. I mean, it's like every band that we play with now, it's like, I think because we jam so much with Cheap Trick, I knew Rick would get us in trouble. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to feel it out. We're just anxious to see them play tonight. I haven't seen them in a long. I haven't seen them play live since the 80s, like 1980 or something like that. So I just want to see how it goes and see what their set is, and we're just getting our set list down. This is our fourth show, and usually it takes us about 2 weeks to get in the groove, and so we'll see what happens. But I know at some point we'll probably be jamming together. It'll probably take over if the guitar players have their way, because I mean, like you said, there aren't too many guys that can play like Billy. I mean, he's even the first record. I mean, his tone was amazing, and he's just stayed there. And any song you hear that they've done, you can tell it's them by his tone.
Would you consider him to be one of your faves out there in the rock and roll world?
Oh, definitely. And again, because they not just that he's a great player, but he's also has such an integral part of making their music. Writing the songs and the production, and I know he's right in there with it. So he falls more into that Jimmy Page kind of heading, that kind of, not only does he play guitar, but he plays guitar for the song, and he has this, and he kind of has this vision about the sound and all that. And
which I'm sure you can appreciate, because based on some stuff I looked up, you have your own studio in your house. Yeah. And you also are getting yourself involved in more aspects of it in the past
Steve
20
and
years.
I have always been there from the time the first thing gets recorded till the time it's mastered. Every record. Yeah. I mean, we've sat there. We might not have gotten credit for it in the early days, but we were there for every note, and all that experience. It's paid off, at least in my case, because I've been I've been putting out solo records. I did those in the '80s, and now I had that one a couple of years ago, and I have another one that's going to be out this summer. And it's funny because we were talking about 4 days off at home. We had 4 days after our last show, and we're mixing the new record, and one of the songs is called "Heaven and Hell," and the one of the ways we're mixing it is actually running it through a guitar amplifier, and it's blasting all through the house. And so we've been listening to the same song for almost 4 days straight, for about 12 hours a day, and it's been pretty much drilled in there.
Now, speaking of your solo record that just came out in '05, that was your first true solo record as Joe Perry compared to the Joe Perry Project, which you've done 3 records of, correct?
Well, that was like a real solo record. I spent time kind of just, we decided to take a year off, and the kids were in school, and we just stayed around the house, so I just spent every day down in the studio kind of putting this thing together and playing everything. And except for the drums, I played everything, and by the time it was done, I figured, well, what the hell? Why should I bring a bunch of people in to relearn all these songs? And I like the way they sound, and let's put it out and make it a real solo record. So I did that, and
not only did you
started from the ground up,
and not only did you put it out, it became critically acclaimed, nominated for a Grammy, and you lost to one of your heroes.
Well, that was an interesting weekend because there was a tribute for his. I think it was his birthday or something, and he was sick that weekend. Les Paul, we're talking about, and he was in the hospital with pneumonia, and he's, I don't know, almost 90, or he's way up there, and he still plays, and he's still right there. He's an amazing person, and he was also nominated for in the same category I was for instrumental, and I would have voted for him, if I had the.
That's what I was going to ask.
If it had fallen, we don't vote, and
it's not a bad person to lose
to. And the guy
to.
is like, he's just what he's done for our art and everything over the years, and all the things he's invented, and all the sounds that we hear are due to the things he started. He made these things in his garage. You know what I mean? And so yeah, it was. And then we were going to jam the next day. There was a party, and we were talking. I was talking to him on the phone. He was in the hospital, and I knew I wasn't going to get an Oscar or a Grammy, but it was one of those things that just being nominated and being recognized in a category that, there are a lot of guys out there that's all they do, and to be recognized for a song that was basically, I wrote it about 12 years ago, and refixed it, and made it sound like it was part of the record and all that. To be nominated was a pretty big honor. Yeah,
nice. Alongside Les Paul.
Yeah, that is definitely one of those things that you don't forget.
Speaking of fantastic guitar players, Joe Perry in the studio here at Big 100.3 preparing for his show this evening at Nissan Pavilion along with ZZ Top and his band Aerosmith. Tickets still available. idigbig.com. Put in the keyword concerts. You can find them there. Great guitarist. You're a left-handed guitarist.
Well, I play,
but you play right-handed.
Yeah,
right. You're left-handed, but you play right-handed.
Right.
And I understand one of your favorite artists is a guy that's left-handed who actually restrung a right-handed guitar by the name of Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think he could probably play both ways, because he would get up and jam with anybody, and I'm sure there were people that would just hand him a guitar and he would just turn it around and play it whichever way. He was an amazing, incredible guy. He's just once every 2 generations somebody like that comes along. Anyway, I think we're going to play a song. This one goes out to my wife who's listening right now, I hope.
Billy, yes.
So this is one of her favorite songs. I remember it was the first time she saw my band play. I was playing this song. So this one goes out to you, baby.
This is Little Wing. One more time.
I love you, baby.
That's right. Love is a good thing. Jimi Hendrix, Little Wing on Big 100.3.